All right, let's just sit right on top of that ball. Grow tall through the top back side of your head. Pull those ribs down and in. And let's just give a nice little bounce, just a gentle bounce. And then start to focus on yourself from the waist up and make sure you're not plopping as you bounce, right? You take a little lift, take a little lift. Can you actually create a pause instead of bop, bop, bop? Can you pause? Can you pause? I don't see pausing. There we go, pausing, good. So I exaggerated that. Now you don't have to pause as much, but I do want just a little split second. And then bounce again, just freely, and then pause. And pause, and pause, and pause, and bounce freely. Bring your arms down, stretch them up. Let's reach up and over with that right hand and lean to the right. Let those hips go the other way. Pull the belly button in, curve down, relax over. Let that body round. Then put your hand on your thigh. Extend that spine, lift up and stretch. Up and over, we're going the other way. Left arm up and over, hips over to that left side. Pull your belly button in to protect that low back. Round it down, slump and hang. Then hand on that thigh, extend that spine, lift it up. Shoulders roll back and down. Let's take leg out, leg in, out, in, out, in, out, in. Sorry. Other way. Out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in. Both at the same time. In, out, and in. You start to jump a little. You can bounce and jump. Option, you remember you're not falling off the ball, right? Option to make this a jumping jack movement with your arms too. If you don't like that too much, you could do back to that single leg, right? If that's too much bouncing, or you can take a break and look at me. We're still going. If you wanted to, you could vary it with your arms. They go up and up, then out to the side and up to the front. If you want, you don't have to. Getting a really good warm up here. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Woo! Let that heart rate settle down. Center yourself. Make sure that your ankles, your knees, and your hips are in a nice straight line. Raise that right hand. I promise not to fall off the ball. Your turn. Okay. I'm going to assume that's a signed waiver. All right, lengthen up nice and tall. Is that something I need to know? Am I okay? You guys can hear and see me and everything? Okay. All right, ribs pull down, extend that spine tall. Lift up nice and tall. And again, we have everything lined up here. Let's take it to a wider stance. Just remind yourself that if you need to during class have more stability, legs go wide. And lastly, let's bring those ankles and knees to touch. And remember, if you need more challenge, then this creates that smaller surface area, a little more challenge. Okay, I'm going to turn sideways as we start moving through our exercises. So go back to that hip distance apart. And then walk your feet out so that your legs are straight. And then you're just going to slide. As you slide forward, your knees come over your heels and your body leans back, right? Maybe a 45-degree angle-ish. Shoulders up, back, and down. On the exhale, I want you to pull your belly button in and curve into that ball. And then on the inhale, I just want you to come up about 2 inches. So you exhale to curl back. You inhale to lift up. Exhale, curl back. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, curl back. Inhale, lift it up. And keep that going for me. 2 more. Good. This time stay back and you're going to walk a little bit farther out so that your head can drop over the ball. You're going to take those fingertips, bring them to the edges of your skull. And again, a wider base will give you a little more support, a little more narrow, a little less. Try to keep your elbows wide. On the exhale, push your ribs into the ball, lift your head with your chin still nodding, yes, not lifting and lowering. And then inhale up and over the ball. Exhale to come up, inhale up and over. Exhale to come up, inhale up and over. Good. This time, as you come down, I want you to rotate toward me, come up to center. Rotate away from me down and up to center. Up and over, 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 up to center. And relax. As you do so, roll a little farther forward. I'm actually going to have to scoot back so that I don't roll off screen. Roll forward until your hips are off the ball. Arms are out to the side. So already you have a little bit of a balance here. Make sure your hips aren't drooping. So lift them up so you feel a little bit of glute work here. You are welcome to stay here, or you could walk your feet together, and that would create more challenge. Or you could go back to hip distance and see if you could lift your heel, alternating. How about your toe off the ground without drooping your hips? How about your knee up? If you can lift your knee, could you lift your leg? If you can lift your leg, can you lift it up and draw me a circle? So keep alternating legs. Whether it's just a lift of the knee or a leg or those circles. And then we're going to roll back up, walk your feet back, and sit back on top of that ball for me, please. All right, so last thing we'll do for now from that seated position is a little balance test. So I'm going to have my hands on the side of the ball, and then I'm going to just see if I could lift my feet off the ground. And hold that. And I may have to, do some mobilization with that upper body. If you are able to do that, then you're going to try tucking, right? Right, so you tuck, tuck, tuck. If you can do that, sorry, I'm having a little issue today, side to side. And if you can do both of those, you're going to try circles. Or you can just stabilize, right? All right, and relax. All right, we're going to come down to the ground. So however you want to get there, move your ball out of the way, come on down. Beautiful. All right, let's bring that ball right above us. Find that neutral spine, deep breath in, exhale, pull your ribs down and in, and then inhale to prepare for ab prep. Exhale, float the head, neck, and shoulders off the ground. On the inhale, see if you can reach those arms over your head, and then on the exhale, everything comes back down. Deep breath in, exhale to lift, inhale to stretch and reach, and exhale to come back down. Inhale, exhale, lift, inhale, stretch and reach, exhale down. If you wanted to, I'm not going to do it because I think it'll scare Nutmeg. As my arm go overhead, I could let go of the ball, let it bounce on the floor, and then grab it again. and then come down. Right, so I would go up and over, drop the ball, lift the ball, or catch the ball, and then come back up. Don't have to do that, but you can if you want. And relax. All right. Now we're going to lift those legs tabletop. We're going to put that ball right on those kneecaps. We're going to make sure we're not snugged up in here. Deep breath in. Exhale, lift it up. On the inhale, extend the legs and the arms for double leg stretch. And then just tap the ball to the knees. So we inhale to stretch and reach. Head, neck, and shoulders are either off the ground, or if you need to, they can be down, right? Still getting that extension of those limbs. Now, if you want a little variety, you could hand the ball off to your inner thighs, or excuse me, your shins, not by bringing these in, but by going up and putting it there, and then extend, and then go get the ball and extend, and then go put it there and extend, and then go get the ball, right? So we're not bringing our knees into us, you're coming up to your knees. Good job, Carol, beautiful. All right, and lastly, you could stack your legs with the ball on those shins, roll them to your ankles, roll back, come halfway down, do that extension. Put the ball where it goes, roll it, bring it, and extend. So you have a couple different options. Go ahead and give me 3 more of whichever option you want to do, please. And then relax. Just let that ball sit here for a moment on your ribs, and then exhale, hollow out your ribs so you feel that ball sink down. And then we're going to take that ball between our inner thighs, and you probably need to kind of put your hands above it so that it doesn't slip away as you squeeze your inner thighs in. Keep that squeeze, and if you're able to take one hand away, put it on your low abs and notice that they should be really tight and flexed and hard, right, as you squeeze, and then relax that. And then notice they might relax a little, and then exhale, squeeze that ball, notice a little tightening on those transverse abdominals, and then release. And again, 2 more times, we exhale to squeeze, we inhale to release. Last time, exhale, squeeze, and release. So those last 2 things, that awareness of our ribs and that squeeze of the ball, we're going to add to our toe touch, but we're going to lift the ball up, this time kind of at your lower leg. Don't forget the feeling of that ball sitting on your ribs. So pull that in, and then you're going to inhale as that ball moves away from you, and you're going to squeeze it to come back up again. So you can move the ball all the way to the ankles. You can have it up between the thighs. If you prefer, you can have it on the shins where I had it at first. Play with where it works best for you, but don't forget that squeeze at the bottom as you come up. Come up nice and slowly. Beautiful job, y'all. And relax. Take a break. Let's just hold the ball up. Let the knees drop to the left or right. Ball is going to drop to the left. Come back up through center. Go the other way. And then come up through center. And now you have the option to do the same thing we just did, but with straight legs. And again, imagine that ball compressing those ribs. Deep breath in. Exhale, belly button staples. Inhale, move the ball away. Flex and squeeze as you come up nice and slowly. Inhale to reach. Exhale, flex and squeeze. Inhale to reach. Exhale, flex and squeeze. Just a couple more here. Beautiful. Now, if you are up for it with the legs straight, otherwise bent knees, side to side, little pendulum. And then you could add a little rotation at the end of that. So when I go to the left, my right leg rotates on top. When I go to the right, my left leg rotates on top. And relax. Let the ball sit under your legs for a moment. We're going to do a baby bridge here. So with that leg, with those legs bent and the ball nice and close, all you're going to do is lift those hips. So not a big deal here, just a warm up for things to come later. Deep breath in, exhale, lower those hips. Deep breath in, lift up, press into that ball. Come back down. This time move your right leg to center, lift that left leg up in the air, press down, and I'm pushing with the back side of my right. So I'm going to feel some hamstring and glute, but I'm also going to feel some low back. This is really good for that low back. And let's just do 4 lifts like that. Beautiful. Bring that down, the left leg on the ball, extend that right leg up in the air, flex through that left heel, lift that hip up. Good. Feel that strength in that left side, lower and lift. Lower and lift. 2 more like that, lower and lift, and lower and lift. Leg down and relax. And then we'll bring that ball in, and this time the ball is going on the fronts of our shins. And our challenge is to roll like a ball without kicking it across the room. But keeping it at the ankles. And then if you were rolling side to side, meet us at the top. We're going to put the ball in front of us. We're going to lift our hips up, scoot them back. Pull those glutes out from under you. And then legs are alongside the ball. They might be bent, they might be straight, whatever allows you to sit tall. Put your hands on top of the ball, and I want you to push down so much that you can feel your spine lift up out of your hips. And then you're going to hinge forward a little bit without doing that, right? And then maybe you play with what your legs can do. Press down on the ball and maybe walk a little farther forward. Good. Press down on the ball and maybe walk a little farther forward. Again, your goal is to not do this, right? So head in line with your spine, ears over your shoulders, not leading the way, pressing down and stretching forward at the same time. And then roll it back. All right, let's do this series that typically you want to roll your mat up, and I'm going to have to go back where you guys can, where I have space to move forward eventually. So you want some cushioning for underneath your knees. And then you want the ball out in front of you off of the mat, so you don't have that resistance. Bring the ball really close to you, almost touching your thighs, and then sit back and down towards your hips. Tuck your elbows in so they're almost at your thighs. And then you're going to roll up, and you're going to lift those toes up in the air so you roll onto the fronts of your thighs, and then you come out into a plank. Right? Here we are. And then you exhale to roll back like you're piking. So you hinge, toes up in the air, fronts of the thighs, reaching. Make sure those ribs aren't lying down or aren't rolling down towards the ground, right? You have to tuck your hips under and you have to pull your ribs in to really get this. A couple more just like that for me, please. On this last one, let's roll out. Do our best to get our arms straight, arms by your ears, belly button in, tailbone under, reach a little farther, and then roll the ball back underneath you for a flop. Flop should feel good. It should help stretch out that low back. Matter of fact, let's take that left hand over to the right, and then walk it back through center, right hand over to the left. All right, from there, just make sure your feet are not on anything slippery, so maybe wider than your mat. And all you're going to do is tuck your toes so that your legs get straight. So you should be in a very supported extension at this point. Hands down on the ball. If you want to, you can lift yourself up a little higher. You don't have to. And then come back down. And lift up and down. If you want, make it little spider tip fingers instead. If you want a little more, we take our hands out of it and we're going to fly them behind us. Now, I could make it harder if my arms were to the side, and I could make it really hard by lifting one arm over my head or the other, and obviously I could do both. I'm not going to, but you can. But you're just doing which one works best for you. Then we're going to work the same area, but the reverse way. So I'm going to bring my hands down in front and just roll forward enough that your hips are the highest part of your body. And then with your head down, you're going to lift those legs up together. So we're working the same area, still working the low back, but in a reverse hyperextension. And relax. All right, let's straighten the arms and look down. Two things I want you to do. Bring your hands so that your thumbs are only about an inch or two apart. And then make sure that your hands are about 10 inches or more in front of the ball. Then you're going to lift those legs up and make sure you are in a nice long straight line. Then you're going to bend your elbows and allow the upper body to come down as the lower body comes up. You don't have to put your forehead on the ground. Elbows come backwards towards the ball. So it is very much a Pilates push-up, right? Not a regular push-up. If you want more challenge, you walk your hands a little farther ahead and roll the ball a little farther down your body. So more of your body weight is in front of the ball, making it heavier, the upper top part. And then press up. Make sure your feet are together, your legs are straight. The ball at this point should be somewhere under your hips or your thighs. So we're going into planks. If you need to take a break, feel free. It's easier to take a leg off than to try to go backwards. If this feels good to you here and your body's in a nice alignment with your head in line with your spine, your shoulders neither rounded nor squeezed together, your abs in, your knees lifted, that's fine. For more, walk your hands forward and drag the ball so it's lower on your body. So maybe down towards your thighs, toward the bottom of your thighs, down towards your knees. Don't let sloppy happen. For even more, you walk your hands a little farther, you drag that ball so it's underneath your shins, you press that floor away, make sure your body doesn't sag like that. You really have to pull that belly button in, tuck those hips under. I'm probably going to go off screen, but you can walk far enough forward so that, hey, maybe your ankles come onto that ball. And again, you're pressing that floor away. Stay strong. Back of the neck is long. Abs are drawn in. And when you're ready, just take a leg off, or you're in your own house, you can roll backwards. And let's slump again. Oh, that should feel good. All right, and then we're going to come kind of halfway forward again where we were for that first extension. We're going to lift the left arm and the right leg, and then the right arm and the left leg. And then again, left arm, right leg, and then right arm, left leg. Now, see if you could scoot a little farther forward. So now, before my toes were securely on the ground. Now, it's just kind of my tippy toes touching. Enough that if I need to, I can put my foot down. Otherwise, try left arm, right leg, bird dog position, and then right arm, left leg. And then just keep alternating. If you find that one side is a little easier than the other, then maybe focus on the side that's giving you challenge. See if you can figure out what's going on. And then one more flop. Actually, probably not the very last flop. All right. So the last thing we're going to do is a Superman balance. So you're just going to find that ball in a good position, and you're going to see if you can lift your arms and your legs at the same time. You probably have to put them down at some point. If your face gets close to the floor, put your hands down. Instead, don't let your face plant on the floor, please. And when you've had enough, flop it over one more time. All right. Okay. Now we're going to work the lower body. We kind of gave it a little bit of a warm up a few minutes ago. You're not going to roll your mat all the way back out, probably. You may want to leave just a little bit of extra cushioning for under your hips, and you're going to definitely need, you're going to need some space where the ball is not on the mat, right? And then we'll lie down. And we're going to do what we did before with our legs just resting, but this time they're resting with that ball way out in front of us. Upper body gets to pretty much relax during this next series. When you're ready, press those hips up just like we did earlier. Okay, first challenge is, could you lift your arms off the ground? And maybe that's just where you want to stay. You're using both sides. You're squeezing those glutes, nice stability. If you want a little more challenge, then you might want to put your hands down first. And instead, you could lift one leg up and you could hold it, or you could lift one leg up and lift and lower 3 times. So you find what is working for you today. And then gently bring your hips down. You're going to roll the ball if you want to. You can leave, you can stay there, or you can roll the ball forward until your feet are on the ball. So now my feet are, like little bird feet up over that ball. Notice what's going on with your legs. Lift up, try and keep those knees in line with your hips. Now remember, this is where a wider stance would be more stable. Again, you could try simply hovering your hands and finding that stability there. Or you can put your hands down and do a lift and lower or a hold of the leg, whatever you want to do. And then bring it down. You are welcome to stay there, or if you want that final level, you're going to roll the ball in so far that it almost touches your hamstrings, and the only thing touching the ball are your heels on top. But then when you lift up, you're going to be really high in the air, right? So again, options to hover your hands. You can walk your feet together for more challenge. You can lift and lower one leg at a time. Totally up to you. And then gently come down. All right, before we do the next series, bring your right leg onto the ball, cross the left foot over at the ankle, and just bend your right knee to get a little quick stretch to the outside of that left hip. Maybe bring it across towards your right shoulder, and then place that on the ball. Right ankle crosses left, bring it in, bring that knee towards your shoulder, and then we're all going out to the first position. Make sure your hips are still at the bottom of your mat. Sometimes you start to travel upwards. Okay, so we're going to do hamstring and then go right into some glute work. So stay with me. If you need to take a break, that's okay. Just come back. All right, so we start again. We press into the ball and lift our hips. And again, getting that back side of the body. But we had a hamstring curl this time, rolling the ball in and out. You can certainly try and do this with your hands hovered, but it's more important to get that exercise. If you want to walk your feet and your knees to touch, you're going to feel this a little bit more on those medial hamstrings. If you want to, you could lift your right leg up in the air and do it just with your left leg. And if you did that, then you have to put the right foot down and do it just with your left. And then we're all going to take a quick break and roll that ball in. So we're bent kneed, and then we're going to lift those hips up as if we just did that hamstring curl. All right, here we go. Lower your hips, touch the floor, lift them. Lower, lift, lower, lift, lower, lift, lower, lift. Keep going. We're halfway. Almost there. And relax. Woo. Roll that ball underneath your left leg. Let it roll over to the side for a second. Right foot just rests on the ground. Take a breath in and then reach around and grab that right hamstring. Pull that leg up and in towards your shoulder. Then bring it towards the midline of your body. And then open it back up again. Reach down, grab those right toes with your right hand, flex that heel to the sky, feel that beautiful stretch on the hamstring. If you want to, you can kind of manipulate your feet a little bit, move those toes around. And then as you roll the ball back through center, take that leg across so the right foot is on the ball now. Okay, so you see that? It's not this thread the needle. But then from there, then I am going to roll the ball in. So it's not thread the needle. This is that piriformis stretch we do sometimes. So my triangle is not wide like that. It's very isosceles. And then I'm going to push that right leg open, feel that stretch deep in the right side. And then I'm going to bring it all the way up to my left shoulder. I'm going to bring that ball behind it, and I'm going to let those knees rock a little to the left, but not so far that I fall off. I'm going to uncross and let both legs rest on the ball. And the right one should feel better. Let's roll that ball to the right, put the left foot on the ground for a moment, please. Then hug that left knee in. Get it close to that shoulder, bring it midline, back over to the shoulder, and then again, we'll reach down with those left fingers, pull those toes back, flex the heel to the sky. Maybe manipulate that foot a little bit, straighten that leg out if you want. And then as we come back through center, I'm going to put that left foot on the ball. Then I'm going to drag the ball in. So my diamond shape is tall and thin. Press open with that left hand. And then we pull it towards that right shoulder. We're going to tuck the right knee right behind it, big stretch. Knees can roll over towards the right, but not so far that you land on your cat or fall off the ball. And then back through center. Woo. All right. We are coming up back onto the top of the ball again. No, sorry, not. Just kidding. All right. We're coming beside the ball. So the ball is at our right hip. Welcome back. And we're going to lean into it. Then we're going to take that top leg a little bit in front, and then we're going to lift that back leg and straighten it. All right. So I'm going to use my left hand to help me lift up towards the sky. Now, if I can, instead, I'm going to take that hand off and put it on my shoulder. Right? Do that same thing. There we go. And then if I want to, I make a longer lever with straight arms. And then I'm gonna take that back bottom arm, I'm gonna point it there, top arm points here, and we're gonna go 8 pulses to the sky. Beautiful. Left hand down on the ball, right arm rolls up and over. We kind of roll halfway over the ball. It should really give you a big stretch on that right side of your rib cage hole area there. And then we're going to the other side. So ball is up against your left hip this time. Lean over into it. Wide stance, top leg, left leg in front. Hand supports you. Left arm to the sky, give it a lift. If you can, that hand is off the ball. If you want to, you extend that arm. Beautiful, and then bottom arm reaches, top arm reaches, we lift 8. Beautiful. Left arm up and over. Allow that ball to roll under you. Get that nice stretch in that back. And then we're going back over to the first side again. We're going to do just a little bit of outer hip work. So we're leaning on the ball again with that right hip. Sorry, I think I may have said the wrong thing. Anyway, hopefully you guys were with me. And then that same hand is underneath my right, your right hand. Then that top leg lifts, right? So you should be working that bottom leg to stabilize. Top leg is here, we're gonna circle. Start with some small circles, reverse. Make those circles a little bigger. And then go the other way. And then make those circles as big as the ball is. And reverse. Woo! And relax. We get to do that on the other side. So again, lean that left hip against the ball. Put your hand down on the ground. Top leg lifts, and you start with some small circles. If you can have your top hand on your hip, that's awesome. If not, you do what you need to do. Reverse your circles. Bigger circles. And reverse. And then big as the ball is. And reverse. And relax. If you want to pivot over like I just did, that's fine. Otherwise, turn around. You're going to come down into a little crouchy position. So the ball is very much behind me, supporting me. We're just going to get a nice opening, chest opening here. Arms apart, you could stay there. Or you could let your head lean back. Or you could lift your hips up so your head is supported by the ball, but your arms are getting a big stretch. Or you could roll up and over and let your head hang off the ball. You're just going to take a few breaths here, whichever position you want to be in. To come out of it, tuck your chin, nod yes. As you roll up, you're going to walk backwards. Only I'm going to cheat a little bit, rolling that all forward, so I'm still on screen. All right. And we'll just take a little stretch here. So kind of like the beginning of class, we're going to let's put our left hand down and arch up and over to the right. Reach as far as you can, and then curl it, and then extend it and lift up. And then we'll go the other way, up and over, curl forward, and lift it up. And you're going to walk your feet back in a nice wide position. We're going to give a little rotation here. And back through center, other way. And back through center. Okay, a little bit of balance here. I'm going to take that left leg, I'm going to bring it over the right one. If you feel unstable, push into the ball. Sit as tall as you can, and then push your hips back. and then press it up. Left foot down, right leg up and over, push into the ball to grow tall, push the ball back, hinge forward. And then back up again. All right. Wide stance for me here, please. Hands on your thighs. Inhale, push the ball back behind you, open your chest to the cow, and then exhale, round into your kitty cat stretch. Inhale, press open, push the ball back, exhale to round. 2 more like that. We inhale to open, we exhale to press. Last time, inhale, open, stay there. Hands here, 4 bounces, 4. We're going up on the last one, 3, 2, 1. Thank you, Big Ball Day. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Nutmeg, for being